Lord. Oh, Lord. I try to pretend I can do it without you, but I'll be out of my mind, doing things my way, losing faith, just living life blind.
How she sound just like the record?
Oh, Lord, regulate my mind, my heart, and soul. I keep forgetting I've been through this before. Hey, I keep forgetting that this battle is not mine, it's yours. I keep forgetting we gotta learn the hard way. I keep forgetting, yeah. We keep forgetting.
That's crazy.
Yeah. All right. It's Hot 93.7, hot937.com. And Bigg Mann here. I have a guest in the studio, man, and I did not know. Now, see, I'm about to tell you. I found out something today because I'm listening to the song. I'm remembering the original. And so when this information came to me, Christian contemporary. That's what
came to your.
That's what came in your bio. It said Christian. I was like, what? Really? Really? Oh, we about to have a conversation. Listen, Bobbi Storm in the studio. Welcome.
What up?
Welcome to Connecticut.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for putting out some hot music.
Thank you.
Listen. All right, so I remember the original back in the day. The Michael McDonald.
Smash.
He didn't give you a hard time.
Not even just Michael McDonald, but Warren G.
Yeah, they didn't give you a hard time.
Listen, I stay out of the business. I really just let them do the work. And I come through with whatever God tells me to come through with and give it to the world.
This record is definitely a hot record. It's refreshing.
Thank you so much.
I was like, wait a minute. I heard it. I was like, whoa, hold up. We got something here.
Yep.
So, how did this, because you were doing some remakes of other records
Holy
before.
mixes is what I call them.
What was it? Holy remixes?
Holy mixes.
Holy mixes.
That's what they're called.
Oh, I like that. Let me write this down real quick.
Holy mixes.
Holy mixes.
Yes.
I like that.
Straight from God himself.
I like it. I love it, actually. So, what inspired you to do that?
God.
Just kind of give it.
I was on a fast. So before the pandemic, in 2020, God said, you knew me before, you experienced me before, and then you tried to go out and tell everybody about me. And when that happened, you didn't have a firm foundation, which was a church home, and other spiritually like-minded individuals to pour back into you. And you became depleted. And so I need you to go to where that is right now. And I'm like, okay. So I was on tour opening for Baby Rose during that time. And I met someone who lived in Philly because that's where I was doing the show at the Fillmore. And when I was in Philly, he took me to his church. And that church, the pastor was instructed from God to leave open in this pandemic. Regardless of what was going on in the world, he was so even in the times where we had to just have the band and do live stream, because I knew the person who brought me to the church, it was just the band, the pastor, and me. So God was really trying to get my attention. And I had an apartment back in Brooklyn during the time. And I'm starting to miss rent, you know. I'm like, God, what am I supposed to do? What's my next move? And he said, you need to know me now. Because where I'm going to take you when this pandemic is over, you'll have to know me. Like, I'll need to be how you operate. I'll need to be your source, everything. So you got to go to Philly. And I'm like, but I just met this person. To be frank, it was a situation of dating. And I'm like, but I just met this person. I don't want to move in with them, you know. And he's like, you got to go. I'll make a way. And so I got a really nice apartment by myself out there. And I gave my life over to Christ. And in that, you know, prior to that, all I knew in the household I grew up with was being Catholic. So I was faced with, I have to pick either or. I can't do R&B and love the Lord, you know, because as I was listening and going through that, when I was going through that spiritual process, I couldn't listen to the same things I could listen to before because they would weaken my progress. Yeah, like I couldn't watch certain shows anymore or anything. And so it got to a point where I was like, am I going to have to pick, God? Like, how did you have me how did you have me awaken this love for R&B and soul music and Motown being from Detroit, but you want me to sing gospel? And God said, I don't need you to choose. I just need you to convert it and have me in it. Wow. Why do you think you've been held back from the things that you're putting out music, losing weight, contractual bondage, those things? Why do you think you've been held back from that? And it's because you can't have a conversation with the new you, who I now have you being for the world, to be used for the world, without having me in it. So how can you have me in that, but not on that, but not in everything?
Wow.
So
wait a minute.
So I couldn't take it.
She ain't preaching to me. Oh, whoa, hold up. Bobbi Storm is here. Listen. It's crazy because I was going to allude to that. You being from Detroit.
Yeah.
You being from the D and things like that. Like, this has been an interesting journey and the motivation behind it. A lot of people, they kind of shy away from talking about God, talking about religion and stuff like that. Especially when they come in here on these airwaves, you know, we play a lot of hip hop and R&B, and they just like shy away from it like it's, you know, that's the forbidden zone, and it's like, why?
Yeah. Well,
why? If that's your motivation, then speak on it and own it.
Exactly. That was me before. Someone asked me in an interview yesterday, if you walked off this interview and you ran into Bobby from 14, what would you say? What would be the advice? And I could feel in my spirit that he might have been looking for me to give something that would be like, keep going, because if I ever stopped, I wouldn't be here right now. Right. So yeah, that's a cliche thing to say. But honestly, if I could go back and speak to that 14-year-old, I would tell her to know God, because I wouldn't have made the mistakes that I made along the way. Now, granted, those mistakes shaped me and formed me into being at this place, and I believe everything is about his timing. But there are some mistakes that hurt, that I may not have had to go through if I knew God sooner. So that was me. I knew God, but he wasn't in the forefront. I wasn't boldly standing in what I know now. And I've experienced miracles. I've experienced blessings that I could never even imagine. So how would I be able to keep something like that to myself? Listen, man. We're going to talk about some things here. It's Hot 93.7, hot937.com. Bigg Mann here. Bobbi Storm here. And hot record on the radio, man. This record is blowing up the airwaves, right? And I'm just saying, you've already walked into your blessing. You've already tapped into your greatness. And I think a lot of times you did what wasn't necessarily the popular thing to do at the time. Because some people, now you became a holy roller. You know, they give all titles to it. But you stood on it. Yeah. And you bet on yourself. And you also brought God with you. Yes. And so with that was a winning combination you couldn't lose. And I mean, for that, I feel like, you know what? There's no limit to what you can do. There's no limit. There's no limit to what God can do.
Right.
Pause real quick. Because I'm distracted at this. You ever seen Home Improvement? So you look like Wilson right now with this TV, with this screen. I'm talking to you, and you like here, and it's like, yeah, I'm trying to undo this, but it's really funny.
But it's crazy. I think, you know, I just want you to leave something to motivate that person who's going through a storm right now, because you've been through the storm, right? You've seen the beginning of it, the middle of it, and now you're on the other side of it. What would you tell that person who might be in the middle of it and they want to give up?
That's the same thing. It's the answer I'm going to have for everything. I would literally say, find God. Find God. It says, seek him first and the rest will be added. And there's no truer statement than that. And everything else was added after I found God. And so I would implore everyone to find God first.
And we can't forget him, right?
We can't forget him.
Man, that's what we're about to play right now. Listen, Bobbi Storm, thank you for your time.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for your energy.
Yes.
I feel like, you know, wow, you just lifted my day up today.
Good. See,
and I appreciate what you're doing. I really do. Yeah. Just keep going. Don't give up on yourself.
Never.
Keep moving the way that you're moving right now. And this time next year is just going to be, wow. Wow. You're going to look back and be like, wow.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
It's Hot 93.7. Bobbi Storm, keep it here.
Bring it up back.
girls peeping me. I'm on God and swerve. These hookers looking so hard.
They straight hit the curve.
Want to bigger, better things than some horny tricks. I see my homie and some suckers all in his mix.
Father